So light, my name is Felicia as well as Niana and Priestess Makala. I am the priestess of the Galactic Spiralite healing modality that kicks serious booty. So, with that being said, apologies for coming on a little later today, but couldn't come on at all earlier because they were cleaning an apartment's carpet and the guy's van was right outside. And it's this loud hum sound that just takes over the whole space. So I went ahead, took it upon myself, and I said, well, let me just go down to my storage and go get a couple of things out because I have something I want to jump into and start doing. And I said, let me go down there since this is going to be a loud um, a loud day until this guy is done. It usually takes him like a couple hours to do it. So I go, and it's hot. And I'm just like, oh my God. Why am I out here? I have my own private sweat lodge, moving in and out. But I have to tell you what we're talking about tonight because I was doing some research and I came across this one part where I was reading on the etheric field, the auric field, and I don't know, I was just doing some kind of diving in, and I came across this one part that I was reading, and it was talking about weapons, the old weapons that can be used against you. And I was like, what? So I was reading it, and I said, oh, this is a part of the psychic healing. When you go and get a psychic healing done, they will say, oh, I found like this arrow in you, or this looks like a knife was thrown at you. This looks like a gun mark, like a bullet entered your body or something. And I've seen that with a lot of different clients doing body work. And they would always say, I was doing just fine until all of a sudden I got this sharp pain, didn't know why I got this sharp pain, and then it's just been hanging around me. And I go, well, what does it feel like? So when I'm working on someone, I'll go in and look in their field and I can see if they've been hit by something or something energetically has hit them. And a lot of times it's an arrow. I'll see it's a old gunshot wound. I'll see something like back in their past life there was a bleed through in time, and this energy is still harboring around in their etheric. So I was like, So one of the things I wanted to bring, remember that this is day 4 of Declare It. So we're not only just declaring changes in our life, but we also want to declare our sovereignty and declare our sacred space. And that means our sacred space of our temple, our sacred space of our home. We're going to be talking about how do you get rid of unwanted beings that like to be around your space. We're going to kind of tighten that up a little more. I know a lot of times I kind of talk about it, but I don't really go in depth about it. So we're going to talk about that today. So one of the things I want you to pay attention to is when you are dealing with pain somewhere in the body. Pain. Where is that pain located in your body? Hold on, let me grab my... Because we're going to do bells today. Got my... Oh my goodness. Okay. So, where is the pain located in your body? Is it in the shoulders? Is it around the neck? Is it in the back? A lot of times people get hit in the back of the neck, mid-back, chest, stomach. Sometimes it could be arm, leg, hip, knee area, ankle area. Where's that pain located? And all I want you to do is just kind of take a moment and just kind of locate where that pain is. Just kind of dial in. Pay attention to where you're feeling it. Where does it feel like it's hanging out at? Just think about it. Feel into your body. And I want you to think about also, oh gosh, thank you. Think about, when did you notice it? Okay? And if you want to apply some oils to kind of get that thought process going, please do. When did you notice it coming in? When did you feel it? And how long have you noticed it? And then I like to do one thing of pointing out, when did it come in? When it started, do you know if you were going through something emotional, traumatic? Did you have an argument with someone? Were you somewhere that you didn't really want to be, but you were there and you were like, where were you when this pain or something you noticed was coming up in your body? Where were you? Who was around you? What event were you at when you noticed it? Okay. And you noticed how you were feeling. Okay. A lot of times, if you have had an argument with someone, a falling out, some kind of disagreement, someone got their panties in a bunch, or someone got all upset about something, you know how they always say, man, she had like daggers coming out of her eyes at me. That's that term. When someone totally is upset with you or doesn't like something you said or whatever, vice versa, there's an energy interaction that this person is thinking, and they're sending out that energy. However it's going to show up in your etheric field. If it's like, stabbing you in the back type of situation, betrayal, anger, that kind of energy, that's what that's going to show up like. So for instance, this was really weird. I went into an Allstate agency, and I went in there and I was taking care. I just stopped by. I said, well, I'm going to just pop in here and just pay my bill, And when I went in, all the women were sitting around, and they were all having lunch, and they were celebrating somebody's birthday. And it was really weird. Okay, this is weird. So I walk in, the lady that handles the front desk gets up from her lunch because, she can't just have a regular lunch where she can just take care of herself. No, she's going to stop eating her food and get up and take care of a payment. Now that's interrupted her food. And I apologized to her and I said, oh, wow, you're having your lunch. She goes, oh, it's okay. I'll take care of it. And I'm like, okay. So she's doing my process. She's putting it all through the computer and all this stuff. And I'm watching and I'm feeling the interaction in the room. I can feel it's almost like the energy in the room was kind of like, it was a fake ass energy. It was like everyone came around, they were sitting in, they weren't really talking, but the one that was the head person, now get this, I can't say the agency's name because of what it is, but it's kind of like, it was just weird. It felt very dominating. Okay, it was very dominant. It was just like that. So the one person who says, oh, I'll just say Julie. Oh, Julie, did you get your food? She goes, yep. And that's it. And she goes, are you liking your food that you're eating? Yes, I'm enjoying it. Happy birthday. And she goes, oh, well, thank you. And it's like, nobody's really talking in there. But you can feel this tension, like they all had to come around, they all had to sit together, they all had to eat, and there was this tension in there. And I said, but here's another thing. All of the women that were in there was no one that was like really tiny, petite or anything. These are all women that had a lot of guarding and protection on. So I noticed that right away. And I said, okay. And I felt into the energy and I said, that one over there, the one with the birthday, controls this whole energy and everybody watches everything that they say. I said, wow, how unhappy. And then I hurried up and got my receipt and I left. And I was like, ugh. And that's not the first time I've noticed that energy. Now, I'm not saying this to be mean or anything, but all of you know this is true. When you get too many women in a setting, you get a lot of backstabbing talking, gossiping talking. I don't know what it is about why women like to tear each other down. There's some that can build you up, and then there's some that like to tear you down. So I was just noticing that in this office setting. And then there was only one young man in there, but I could tell he was a twin spirit. And I was like, okay, but when the last time when I went into it before, they were in the meeting, and he went straight from the meeting, straight into his office, sat down, took a deep breath, and he just sat in front of his computer like he was having anxiety. And I was like, oh my God. And then he picks up his phone and he's like clicking away on his phone. And I'm like, wow, what is going on in this office? You guys are supposed to be representing, you're in good hands. But it seems like nobody's trusting those hands. I'm like, what the heck is going on? So the reason why I bring this up is because when we're dealing with psychic energy weapons that are in your auric field or your etheric field, you want to clear those out. And it can be in your spirit body, it can be in your emotional body. So you want to clear those out. So just take a moment and I just want you to just think right now, where are you having some pains in your body? And I just want you to declare, I'm declaring right now that I'm clearing this. I'm releasing wherever this is. If it's a past life, if it's a present, if it's future energy on different timelines where I'm feeling this. Now, don't forget, there's many different dimensional selves of us on different dimensions having an experience. And in those dimensions, you might be encountering something where you're fighting or you're running, or you might be experiencing something in those dimensional realms, okay? That might just show up in your present realm right now that you're feeling on the body, okay? It's just like the Matrix when they did the whole red dress thing, and he's, and then he's got to go up to the top of the building. He's got to jump, and he's thinking he's going to make it, but he falls because his mind is saying, you're not going to make it. You're going to fall. He's already telling his brain that. And so he falls and hits the ground, and then he's wondering why his mouth is bleeding because his mind believes it. His mind believed it, okay? So just take a moment, take a deep breath in, and I just want you to place your hand on wherever that pain is, wherever that discomfort is, wherever that might be for today. And all I want you to do is take a deep breath. Exhale it out. And just say, I am now releasing this. Breathe. And I declare it gone. And just release it from the subtle body cell, the etheric body, the astral body, the mental body self, the emotional body self, the physical body self, and spiritual body self. Breathe. Inhale, exhale it out. Yes. Now, when you're clearing that and you're releasing that, singing bowls work really well. Bells. I love my Tibetan bells. And just allow yourself to just declare it so and releasing it. Release the hooks and the cords to that energy. Now taking a nice deep breath wherever you're feeling that and blow it out. Just release it. Breathe in again. Exhale it out. And release it. So everyone's homework assignment tonight is to be in that space and releasing it wherever it is. What I want you to do this time is where you're feeling it. Ask, when did you start? Ask your body, ask your higher self, when did this start? And I just want you to just sit and be still, be quiet. And the first image that pops up, I want you to follow it. Follow that timeline. Follow it where it takes you. Where is it taking you? Just keep breathing as you're moving through the timeline. And just don't be in your head trying to control it or manipulate it. Just allow, your soul knows what is going on. It has all the imprinted events of everything that's ever happened to you. Past, present, future, okay? Dimensionally, we'll just put it that way. It's going to follow the timeline. It's going to show you what it's connected to. Now, when I'm working with clients or I'm doing body work on someone and I follow it, I'll get an intuitive hit where it came in, and a lot of times it's crazy. I'll see things like back in the Ice Age time. You were in a tribe. This happened. You fell. Your leg got caught. Blah, blah, blah. And then once we breathe into that and just release that timeline, remove the hooks and cords of that timeline just by releasing it and declaring it done, the pain was resolved. It was gone. So everyone's homework assignment is going to be, where are you feeling that discomfort? Where are you feeling that pain? Okay, where is it sitting? Where is that? And declare it so. Declare it so that you are clearing that. Now we're going to step into the next part of this. When you're dealing with spiritual attacks that were indoctrinated upon you from your family. Okay? You're welcome. Now, this is going to get a little sensitive for some people. So I just want you to take a breath here. Just breathe. Don't want you to interact if something has happened to you and it freaks you out to think about it, or you can't put all the pieces together of what happened to you. Now, in this work, as well as many other light workers who do this work, I can honestly say working with people who have been attacked by lower beings, who've been attacked by grays. They're being contacted and they're being experimented on. I remember the very first time I met a lady and she was talking about they track me. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? She goes, if I don't put pennies in my shoes and cover my walking, my energy, I'm being tracked and they come for me. And I just remember when she was talking, because back in that time, I wasn't awake yet. I was still, doing my whole going to church thing and being nursey. I was very scientifically in my mind, and I was just like, what are you talking about? And I just remember she took her shoes off. She had all these pennies lined up in her shoes, and she goes, watch. And I'm sitting next to her, and all of a sudden, it was like her hair started going up, and it started getting really like staticky and weird in the room. I just remember I was feeling very lightheaded. And she goes, you see it? I go, yeah, I see it. And then she reaches down, she puts her shoes back on, puts the pennies there, and then everything turns back to normal in the room. I go, whoa. She goes, yeah, that's how they find me. And I said, how long has this been going on? She goes, I don't know. I think ever since I was born or when I was a young girl. And I just remember her saying to me, I wanted to know if you could help me, but I don't think you can because you are not, you're not on this level and you don't know what this is. And I said, I don't know what this is. So now speed forward. She's being tracked by probably the Greys that were tracking her. And she did tell me, and she did show me, she had a implant. And I remember her pushing on it, and she was guiding it up her arm, and she says, yeah, every time I go in to get someone to try to surgically remove it, they can't get it. And I was like, okay. And she goes, yeah, this is what they put in me. And I was like, oh my gosh. Okay, so listen and pay attention to what I'm saying here. A lot of times, what happens is you come into the world, okay? You're here for your sacred purpose. But unfortunately, there might have been some unfinished business in your family. Something got out of control, and somebody did something. And then sometimes you just get a family member that's not right, that does something because they don't want to take care of their own karma. They don't want to handle it themselves. They don't want to be accountable, and they don't want to be responsible to clean up their own karma. So what they do is they do ceremony, some kind of ritual that slams that energy into the child to carry. So it bypasses them. Okay? This is why when we come down here and we incarnate, or we come through our chosen mother and father and everything for our experience, this is why they call the mother and plant, the earth mother and father are just your earth mother and father. Your real parents are in your star system where you came from. Okay, you just have your earth parents here because you needed them, the earth mother portal, to get in here, to be here. Okay, so you have your real parents, parents in the cosmos, in the star system where you came from. Okay, a lot of people forget about that. Okay, don't forget that. You have those parents, and when you're done here and you don't want to incarnate, going back into that light system and reincarnating back in here, and then you tell yourself, no, I'm going out, and then you go out and you go back to your star system, And then everybody wants to hear about your journey and da 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 da. How was it? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, when that happens, that child is carrying the debt of the one that should have took care of it in the first place. Okay? They pushed it into that child. Now, let's say this isn't even a family thing. Let's just say that there's a group of people that know who you are. They've been waiting for you to be born. Kind of like the whole Rosemary baby thing, all that stuff. And they are going to do this ritual to have a certain being attached to you. Okay? That's going to be a part of this, because they're calling this in to get their money or their prosperity or their business or their whatever they're attaching it to, whatever that ceremony may be. Okay? Now, you don't know what has happened to you and all the things that's going on with you. You keep thinking you're just having some kind of breakdown, some mental thing, blah, blah, blah. But actually, something happened to you and you can't put all the pieces together. You see flashes of it, you feel flashes of it, but you still can't make sense of it. And the worst thing about it is at nighttime when you go to sleep, you feel like there's a lot of presence in your room. You feel like there's a lot of things around your bed. You feel like there's pulling on you, scratching. You hear voices and all kind of things. Now, here's two things I want you to think about. Depending on how long this has been going on and how long you've been dealing with it, that's one thing. But where you are living, if there was some kind of ritual that happened in that place where you're living and you don't know about it, you are now being a part of a time looping energy of something that was open and it didn't get closed properly. And now that energy is interacting with you. I come from a long time generational trauma, family from the Caribbean, and I am the youngest girl. I'm a Capricorn sun and rising Virgo moon. Well, pay attention. So, in our generations, in our ancestry, in the blood, not everybody was light and love. All right? And depending on in your generation and in your blood, if you have medicine healing people in it, they walk with certain medicines, they have certain things that they're walking with in life, and 9 times out of 10, you have it too. So these type of energies, if that debt didn't get taken care of or it didn't get cleaned up, it just keeps going on for generations and generation and generation until someone cleans it up. Until someone can actually face it and do the work and clean it up. Here's where it gets warrior-like. You have to be the warrior. Hold that thought. Let me stop this thing real quick. All right. Towels are out. I'm like, towels are out. Okay, you have to be the warrior. What I mean by that is that it all falls on you now. Remember what I said earlier? Way back, probably last year, whatever. If you have an affinity attraction for skulls, any kind of skull, celebrating the Day of the Dead, so you like all that, You came here to deal with ancestral stuff. Okay? You are here to deal with that. You walk with Makatari. Okay? You are not afraid of death. You're in between the worlds. Okay? So, rock hues. I hope I said that right. Just pay attention. So, when you see this energy, and you've been dealing with it, and it's generation, you know it's around you. You feel it, okay? You know it's there. It's always in the background. Let me put it this way, fucking with you, okay? It can be destroying, but I let a lot of people know, pay attention to certain things, certain marks that are on your body, and certain things that have been passed down through the generations to keep or maintain or hold. Pay attention to that. Because that right there is your key to undoing what happened. Okay? Pay attention to mirrors that were passed down through generations. And nobody ever got rid of that mirror. Pay attention to that. Okay? Pay attention to that. Pins, medallions. Now, unless you have an elder that can tell you exactly where that medallion came from, what has been done with that medallion, great. But if you get the medallion thing and nobody knows really what it does and it's been in the family forever, you better be paying attention to that. Okay. So, in this part of Declare It So, this is where you have to stand in the power of who you are. And you are going to be the one to break it. This is where you learn how to do the protection, how to do the cleansing, how to really go in to your etheric self and remove those hooks and cords. This is where you go if you're dealing with stuff coming in at you at nighttime when you're sleeping and they're coming into your space attacking you. Now you have to ask yourself this one question. What do they want? Okay? In all the movies, when we talk about exorcism, satanic things, and demons and things like that come in, one of the trick of the trades with demons, when you find out the name of what or who is attacking you, the name of it, it has to tell you its name. It'll laugh at you, it'll tease you, it'll make something up. But when you declare and you call and you say, under the universal light of the divine Christ light, you have to tell me your name. It will tell you its name. And when you get the name, this is where you banish it. And you say through the universal law, through the prayers, however you pray, whoever you're connected to, that is your divineness, I declare you are banished from my space to be here no more. And when you're dealing with something like that energetically, when you're banishing an energy, you have to mean what you say. You can't be talking, I banish you, banish you from it. No, you gotta say, I'm banishing you. You need to move out of my space. You need to move out of my home. This home is not for you. I have this home. You have to get that. You gotta get that. You cannot be all light and loving. Light and love, go, please leave my space. No. They looking at you and laughing and say, oh, this is cute. I'm going to have a ball with you. You got to get that warrior. You got to get if you have your inner dragon, you got to become that. Dragons like to do what? Burn things up. That's purification within itself. So when you are smudging and doing things, you're not going to have no little wispy little smudge coming out. No, you're going to light this sucker up. You're going to have smoke coming out. Your smoke detector might even go off because you're smoking things out so much. You go in with that intention of clearing. Same if you've been dealing with an ancestry thing, you're going to find out when it first started. Who had a bicker with who? What family was out of sync with who? Who was angry at who? And then go in there and clean house. And say, and sometimes if you can't find out who said what, when, where, and why, and cast through that energy out there, then you do a clean slate. Wherever this originated from, I declare it so to be cleared, banished, and removed from my space. Period. You go into that space just like that. You don't bat an eye. You just go straight in. One thing when you're dealing with things like this, you cannot have no fear. Fear for what? Their fear is that they will not be able to use you as a host or to keep manipulating and being in your space and scaring you and feeding off of your energy. Now, don't get it twisted. Don't get me wrong. There are some spirits out there that are just beyond this world. And they are not going to move, especially if they are set in a portal of energy in a home somewhere, and it's been going on there forever and ever and ever and ever. Don't think that you can take that on. No. There are some things that have been here a lot longer than time. They got a lot in the game. All right? This is all about knowing what energy has been hitting you, coming up, rap tapping at your door, and how you want to deal with it. First thing, no fear. No fear. You don't have fear. You don't show the fear. Because once you do, that's when you lose. Because its whole point is an energetic being who lives on fearing you. And one of the things you detach and you just don't give it your fear anymore. Okay? This is generation. And a lot of times, if it's not on the father's side, you'll find it mainly on the mother's side. Something went down between some grandmother or some sisters. They had a love for some guy, and that other sister never got over the fact that that guy got taken away from her because the other sister snatched him. And now that sister's upset, and so now that sister going to say some words. And now you got this energy out there running around, wreaking havoc. Okay? Pay attention to when you get someone that wants to give you a doll. Oh, yeah. I watched this one happen. And I was trying to protect my mom. And this individual, back in the day, she was so pissed off. She went all the way down to Guatemala. Met up with a brujo. Sat there and got incantations and stuff and had a porcelain-like doll. And this brujo put a spell in it and attached a negative being to it. Okay? Wrapped it up, put it in a bag, told her don't unwrap it. Make sure you give it to the person that you're angry with and that you want out of the way. Okay, give it to that person. Okay, so she comes back and I find out she's back in town. I'm like, okay. Then I get a phone call. My mom's telling me, oh, yeah, she came back and everything's fine. We're not all arguing anymore and da-da-da-da-da. And she even brought me a really neat doll from Guatemala. She gave it to me. I go, huh? Yeah. All right. She gets the doll. Doll's in the house now. She opened the bag. Doll's in the house. Energy's in the house. Next morning, I get a phone call. I'm not feeling good. Been having weird dreams, having headaches. I don't feel like myself. I go, where's that fucking doll? She goes, oh, I have it in the bedroom sitting on a chair. I told her, get that fucking doll, put it in a paper bag, get a piece of sage, put a whole bunch of sage in there, put it in a plastic bag, wrap it up, put it in a trash can at a grocery store somewhere far away from your house. Get it out of the house now. And then I need you to go into the shower, get some fresh cut lemons. Pay attention to what I'm saying. Fresh cut lemons, and take that and put it in some salty like water mixture, sea salt. And I want you to put your hands over it and say a prayer over it as a part of cleansing and releasing. And I want you to cleanse your hands with that salt. Cleanse all the way up to your arms, all the way up around your neck. Cleanse with the water over you. Cleanse your face. Cleanse all part of you. And then wherever that doll was, I need you to smudge that whole space, that whole room, smudge the entire house. Then I need you to take some holy water. If you've been baptized or blessed up any kind of way, you're sacred. All women are sacred. You can bless up water and go and do your holy water in all the directions of your home, all around your bed. Bless up the area where that doll was. And all the energy, put the holy water, bless yourself up your feet and everything. And just undo that energy and send it back to where it came from. Preferably all the way back to Guatemala. Send it back. She does what I tell her. Her headache disappears. Her energy comes back. Her vision comes back. She was feeling kind of lightheaded, like she couldn't see clearly. She was hearing weird things. She even said she saw like weird shadow thing on the wall, but she couldn't figure it out. Thought it was just a car passing by or something. I'm like, no, that was that doll. So she had her Annabelle moment. And I was pissed. And I got a hold of that. And I said, now, you messing with my mama. And I'm not going to stand for that. Let's dance. She looks at me. I don't have beef. I said, oh, no. You just stepped up on my mom. So now it is mine. You don't know. She's an elder on top of that, and you no. Let's handle this. Let's just put it like this. There was never another doll situation She did not come to, I don't think she came to the house for about a year. And the energy of what had happened got dealt with all the way. Took care of it. Because that was wrong. And she did it for egotistical reasons. Nobody was hurting her. There was no threat. There was nothing. And this started all because her and my brother were going through a divorce, and they were doing custody fights over who was going to get the children, when they were going to see it, all this custody fight stuff. The kids were in the middle of this. That's how it started. This is why I'm telling you, you have to go back to where is the rivalry. Who is pissed off and never got over it? That's where it is. And a lot of people are walking around with all this energy and stuff that's happened to them until they finally declare their space sacred, until they finally declare that they're going to clear it and get rid of it. And it's not going to be easy because you've got to find out where it's coming from. And a lot of times these dark being entity energies, or just negative beings, I like to call them that, these negative beings, they just want to wreak havoc. Remember what I taught you about the Maboyas? They're just like that. They like havoc. They like chaos. They live on making people angry and fear. They live on that. Okay? So you have to find out, where is it coming from? How long has this rivalry been going on? Who kept a journal? Who wrote letters? Who had a healing book? And if you moved into a house that has some history, and you have not been feeling well since you moved into that home or that apartment, I suggest you kind of go through, take a look deeper into those closets. Take a look deeper, especially if it's a home. Take a look deeper into what's underneath the floor. Is the house really built the way it is? Did they cover up a wall somewhere and you don't know about it? Is that wallpaper that's up? How old is that wallpaper? What's it hiding? What's behind it? If you walk into a room and you know it makes you don't feel right, you best be looking what's not right in that room. If you walk into a room and flies are all in the window, it's cold in there, but you walk everywhere else, temperature's fine, but it's flies in the window. I told a story about when I lived into my apartments in Carmichael, how this man from, I think he was from Nigeria, and he had these amber like colored eyes, and he would come out, his apartment was like kitty corner mine. He had just moved in. He came out. I go, hi. He didn't say nothing to me, ignored me. And I said, oh, well, okay, somebody got off the wrong side of bed. Gotta go. Went to work. And then every time he would see me or what, he would just give me this death look, like he just couldn't stand me. And I'm like, dude, I'm just trying to be neighborly. I'm just trying to say hi. I leave you be. Obviously, you got issues in your tissues. I don't need to be bothered with that. Goodbye. I just leave it alone. Went on about my business. Then this girl comes visiting him, and he's supposed to get married to this girl. But I hear over there, him, where you been? How come it take you so long to get back? And I remember I told the girl, I said, you should be careful. You're going, he said, well, we're supposed to be getting married. It's an arranged marriage. I said, oh, you gonna marry that? I heard him yelling at you. You okay? She's like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm thinking about it. I said, okay. I guess he was very intuitive because the next time he looks at me, he gives me like this dagger look. I felt it. I was like, ooh, 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 nah, shucka, shucka, nah, nah, nah. What do, what do? So I go to work. I come back, and my whole front of my dining room area windows has flies all over it. Everywhere. These not no little flies. These big ass horse flies. All over the place. Ain't nothing died in my apartment. There's nothing dead there. I had my symbols there, everything, my crystals. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I said, and I stopped. I said, where did this come from? And I feel into it. And then I feel it. And I go, oh, it's from him. Oh, no, we're not doing that. Got my salt out. Got my medicine, made up my smudge. Put my plant medicine together. Got the charcoal piece out, put it on there, put my copal on there, put my dragon's blood on there, put my sage. All banishing stuff. Opened up my door. Banish, banish. And when I was doing it, I was like, back to his direction. And said, don't do that. Cleared the space, sealed up my space, put my seals up, everything was cool. Apartment was humming. Next day, I see him. He's got all these flies, stuff running around, coming out of it. He goes, He's trying to open the door, and he's like, and he looks at me, and I go, and I just deadlocked. Next thing I know, within a week or so, the girl doesn't marry him. He got raging mad about it. And then something happened. He ended up getting an eviction notice because he was disturbing the peace. So he got tossed out. And I was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. What do? He should have never sent that over towards my direction because I wasn't doing nothing to him. He got rude, disrespectful. You have to be in that space. A lot of you are dealing with generational stuff, and you got to go back through time. You got to go back. You got to backtrack and find out where that shit's coming from. Find out who stopped talking to who. And I guarantee you, it's tied up in some dark-ass family secret that nobody wants to talk about. And a lot of times, if the secret is that dark and there was ritualistic things going on and somebody got hurt in the process and it was hush-hush on it, but then you notice a pattern that everybody in that family dies a certain way from a certain thing. That is a generational energy that's doing it. And it has to be dealt with. Because if you don't face it and you don't cut it, you can't have any peace. You're trying to live your life and move ahead, but you got some kind of freaking thing around you. And all it does is keep messing with you. It keeps stealing your life force. Okay? That's what it's doing, stealing your life force. So you have to take your power back, and don't consent to what happened in that time. Okay? So those are two things you got to look at. Generational stuff, if it's a family thing, a family squabble nobody knows about, how you're going to heal that, how you're going to take care of that. And if it's where you're living and something happened on that land, in that apartment, in that home, you gotta really be aware if anybody crossed over through their own creational way and you moved in, and it's like you got all these weird things happening to you. Okay? In this part of declaring it so, it simply means this: you declare your space sacred, you declare you're going to banish whatever energy shouldn't be coming in. You're banishing it. I banish you. That word is very powerful. I banish you back to where you came from. I banish you. I banish you through the Christ consciousness light. I banish you. I banish you through Archangel Michael to take care of you. I banish you. Okay? So think about all these little twists and turns when you're dealing with generational stuff. And this is the thing here. And this is truth of truth. A healer can only do so much. You're the one that has to do the work. You're the one that has to face it. You're the one that's going to have to stand up to it and say, you know what, you don't get to. You're the one that has to be able to say, I am divine being. I am royalty within my blood of self. And stand in that. You're not going to stand in fear. You're not going to stand in that doubt. You're going to stand in that knowingness. And then you create the team that's a part of banishing. I got a good team. They like to come in and clean house. And my dragons are hungry all the time. Dragons will be dragons. But it's because some of us are just very old souls. We've been around. We know how this goes. We know what's on the table. We know who comes a knocking. We know who's watching. We know. But at the end of the day, I better be able to get my sleep. You better not be in my space, or I will have words with you. That's where you have to be. That's the kind of energy you hold. And when they see you're fierce, and when they can't manipulate you anymore, and you're not crouching down and crying and running scared and doing all that, they got to go find somebody else they can mess with, because they can't mess with you. And they will test you to see if you mean what you say. They'll come by and knock a couple things over, stir it up, be like, I told your ass to go. Now you gonna come up in here acting like that? I don't think so. Gone. You have to own your space. And you have to do that work. So in this part of day 4 of declaring it so, we talked about how you clearing your space. You're having problems at night sleeping, make sure your bed is in order. Make sure your bedroom's in order. Make sure you know how to put up powerful shields over your doorways. I'm talking about all your doors that lead into your bedroom. Make sure you know how to use sea salt around your bed. And then using lavender and sage, putting it together. And then putting your prayers on it. So last night, I went to sleep. And I had a lot on my mind. I was thinking about a lot of people. I was thinking about a lot of things. Then I went to sleep. And I woke up at 3:30. And I'm laying there. I'm like, okay, it's been a while. I woke up at 3:30. I'm laying there. I go, okay. So I get up. I walk over. I take a look outside. And I'm like looking at the sky, and I see a drone out there hovering, doing its thing. I said, okay, there you are. And then I started kind of just walking back and forth. I'm like, what do I need to do? What is needed? And I have the most beautiful thing. You know, all my life, I've been taught how to pray. How you pray. Pray for people. Pray. That's all I ever done. Just pray for people. Pray. But then when I found out about the artificial God, that really ticked me off. I said, well, that explains a lot. Why things weren't getting done the way it should have been. And when I would say something to the mother, things would get taken care of. I'm like, oh, because she's real. She's cosmic. She's real. I said, okay, that makes sense. So I heard the most beautiful thing. And this felt so true to my soul, felt so true to me. And I heard, let your prayers now represent the divine light. Let your divine light be your prayers. Let you speak divine light prayers. Let it be that, because everyone is moving into being their crystalline self. So now your words are that plasmic, vibrational light speaking a prayer. The prayer is not about begging for something or please, and it's not about that. It's the divine words of saying things that help uplift others. So I was sending out this beautiful divine light of speaking and sending out words for those who needed something, those that were having a hard time, those that might be struggling. I was saying these divine word prayers, and then from there it went straight into light language, and then I was gritting these symbols and lights into Mother Earth and time, and was done. And that took about a good 20 minutes. And after I was done, it was 4 o'clock. I laid back down, went to sleep. And when I woke up, I was like, oh, I'm so tired. What's going on? And I said, oh, that's right. I was doing this light code, divine prayer speaking into that, anchoring the light, bringing it into place. So just to FYU, to let you know that back in the day, we used to just pray. Okay? Now, your prayer energy or your divine heka of how you speak creates the luminescing light of divine love and healing for those that you think of, for those that you think they need something or so, and you send it out there. It has a different frequency and a different anchoring to it because it's on a higher timeline. It's not coming from a place of woe is me or help me, big. It's not coming from that. It's coming from a place of divine heart space, as though you're God's, and saying it for those that need to remember who they are. You're activating it from that high heart space. You're speaking in that space. So here's the thing, lovelies. When you walk in that space and holding it, and you're declaring yourself a sovereign divine being, and you're owning that, let yourself really hold it. Let yourself really become it and anchor it. There's an entirely different feeling when you allow yourself to embody the whole thing. Not just sometimes, but 100% embody it. And so when you walk out, when you get in your car, when you go to stores or whatever, and you walk in and you see a group of people getting ready to come out, and then all of a sudden they back up, and they part as you come in and they walk and they wait till you go past. That's that illumination energy of, hi, remember who you are. Wake up. Remember who you are. You're emanating that because you what? You declared it so for yourself, for who you are. So this whole journey of us in working with this word of declaring it so, and so it is, what are you declaring? How are you declaring it? How are you activating it? How are you showing up in it? How are you keeping that real? That's the beauty of it. Okay? So I hope you really got today's teaching. I hope it all makes a lot of good sense to you, and I liked it. But if we are anointed and true negative entities, and listen to our comment. My grandmother told me she has a book for me, but I haven't been able to get it yet. Okay, so you're on your journey to figure that out on what's going on and breaking that. I had to really dive in. I still have a little bit more to clear of the bloodline with my mother's side of stuff. And so far I cleared most of it, but there's still a little something going on. Looks like it's going to be some digging through some old photos again, like the ones that are hidden. Haven't seen yet. Okay? So, with that being said, I want everyone to just really think about that. I found my sacred shell today. And this shell is actually in the painting that was done. And this shell was gifted to me by a friend when I worked at the spa, Desiree. And she goes, I got a shell with your name on it. And I go, really? She goes, yeah, I found it at the beach. And, I just held it, but I have to give it to you. And I go, okay. So she gave it to me. And ever since she gave it to me, it's just been this beautiful, it has a spiral right on there. It's perfect. And I've done probably about 6 ceremonies with this. But the last one I did a ceremony with was so powerful that people, whatever they prayed about in the water and they poured it, we gave it to the land, everything came true for them. So I said, well, I think I'm going to do another one of those ceremonies again with people. So I'm planning it and putting it together. And Niana is interpreted, Niana is the meaning of water flower. So I am that water flower. I like to bring beauty into the water, and I like when people are happy and they're joyful. And, a lot of people don't know I am an ordained minister. I am non-denominational. I can marry you, I can bless you, and I can bury you. That's how that rolls. So I love when I can bless up babies. I love when I can bless up people when they are doing last rites to help someone cross over, and weddings. But I do more of when someone's getting ready to cross over from an illness. I'm there for that. Because Capricorns are what? Doorways to the other side. Yeah. They got to come through us to get to the other side. Yeah. So it's just walking and owning yourself, owning your medicine. So I'm looking forward to that. And I said, I'm going to bring that in and start doing that. So let's take a look at today's message. And I want you to really think about what your body is saying and what I was talking about today, how that is kind of on your mind, I want you to think about it. Think about those old times when your grandma would sit around and she would say things like, "Oh well, nobody talks to Esther anymore because of the what was done." Think about that. Think about what was said. Think about the times when you know there was something somebody found and someone took something from somebody, and when they did, all hell broke loose. Think about those stories. Go back, backtrack and go back and go look and see who did what. That's how you're going to fix it. You're not going to fix it running. You have to stand in your power. You have to represent it, and you have to be true to yourself. And here's the thing. When you're really working with dark beings and things that have been placed upon you, you cannot blame others or anything at the moment, because it was something happened that caused that. So you have to be in a place of really owning that space and really looking, where is this coming from? And then here's another thing. A lot of you just think because something was done that you have to carry it. You don't have to carry it, especially if it was done against your will. You have every right to say that was done against my will and I did not consent to that, no matter what it was, who was all involved. I don't consent to it. It's not mine to carry. When you do that, you have just given yourself permission not to be a victim energy to the situation that's going on around you, the energetic energy. You gave yourself permission not to hold it anymore. See? Seven of Swords. Hunting and looking. Crows are all off there. It's kind of like hunting and looking. What's going on? The Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords. Oh, you're welcome, Mystic. So the Seven of Swords is all about that, deception and betrayal, taking only what's needed, the universe bearing witness to the true intentions, getting away with something, being kind of strategic, being grateful for the resources you have, moving silently and quickly. Here is the affirmation. I act from a place of love and mortality, and the universe witness my honest intentions. Okay? Universe will witness that. Now the question, shift the way to new potential. I love this. Shift the way to new potential. Shift the way to new potential. And this is a number 29. So that's that 11 energy. So when we're shifting away, this is a light workers ignite, a shift in your consciousness, human evolution, powerful leaders' awareness of your thoughts, things coming into alignment with your highest purpose, your soul story, and uncovering your highest potential. Here's the question. Have you been feeling the call to change, yet keep holding back? Have you been feeling the call to change, but yet keep holding back? What's keeping you from choosing a new path today? What's keeping you from choosing a new path today? What new potential lies ahead of you? What lies ahead of you? What do you want to align yourself with? Okay. The crystal grid is, oh, I love this. This is perfect. Balance. Number 32, and there's that 5 energy about change. And this is the shaman stones. Now, you know the shaman stones, you have a female stone and a male stone. And when you put them into your hands, one stone to each hand, matching the energy, it balances your meridians and your chakras when you're working with this. Okay? So the shaman stones are very powerful. One thing I always say that a lot of spirits do not like, they don't like it when you smudge, they don't like it when you wear rose, they don't like it when you wear patchouli, they don't like when you ring bells. They can't stand that. They hate bells. They hate bells. Why do you think they moved a lot of bells out from churches and stuff? And we used to have bells all over the place. Remember that? And now they just started taking bells out because these beings cannot handle the bell sound. Think about the movie Venom. When the high frequency bell sounds and what happens to Venom? Venom goes, ah, he gets all like separated from the guy and distorted. That's exactly what happens when something's on you. When you start rattling, doing rattle shakes all over you, taking your water and cleansing yourself with it, when you're doing bells around you, they can't handle that. They hate that crap. They hate it. They're like, oh, what the, oh, what, oh. They'd be like, I gotta find somebody I can get what. Oh, there's Timmy over there. He's doing drugs. Perfect. Takes off and goes to Timmy. There you go. So, do your homework. Get in there and take a look and see how that is moving. And then pay attention to any past life things that come up that is showing you something that's happening to you right now. That's on a timeline. It happened in another timeline, but it's aligning with you right now so that you can see it, so you can heal it, release it, and let it go. Okay, pay attention because it comes up in those times, 1:30 to 5 in the morning. That's your time. Okay, that's the time to do good healing work. That's the time to do some good cord work, getting rid of old cords and hooks of people, cleansing all that stuff out. Okay, so sorry that this turned out to be a really long one, but it was important once I got what we were going to be talking about, and I said, oh, that's important. So you know how I move, you know how I operate. I listen to Source, I listen to Creator when it's being told, talk about this, because this is coming up on this timeline. Okay? All right, lovelies, be good to yourself. Much love. Let's say it. I know I haven't said it for 3 days, so let's say it today. You are divinely aligned. You're divinely awake. You're divinely seen. You're divinely heard. You're divinely loved. And you're definitely divinely magic. You're seen, heard, loved, aligned, awake. You're all of those things. You are divine. You are sacred. Don't forget it. Okay? Hi, lovely. So be good to yourself and take care of yourself. Okay? So we're getting through this 7 month. Then we're going to party when we get to the 8th. We're going to party hard there. Okay? So just get ready. The 8th is going to be good. We're going to go in kind of fast and do some work because we got that portal. We're not going to take our portals down at the time when we do purification and clearing, because that's going to get us in alignment of what we're doing for the shows, like the 8-day leading up to the 888. Okay, we're going to use that to flip timelines and to move things out. And it really would be such a wonderful thing that on that day all of us will say, I consent no more to lower vibrational beings who have been doing things against humanity whenever it first originated, started, against our will. We consent no more. Let that energy shake and break timelines across all dimensions. Let it not only break for us, but let it break for our generation. Let it break for our ancestors who had to carry that, and they didn't get a chance to finish it. We're here to finish the job. Period. Last call. Last dance. And this one, lovelies, is where we say, I'm going to get tens all over this because I got the right shoes on. I'm divinely aligned. And that's how this is going down. You got to walk it like that. You got to be in that. You really do. I like this. The old bells. Yes, out of the churches across the country back in the 1800s. Why do you think they did that? Because they knew the frequency of it. So when you get those Tibetan bells, get your bells. I got 3 of them. This is my biggest one. I can't stand that. And even if you go through your home and you ring it and say, get your ass out of my house. Oh, I'm a tyrant. Quick story. I remember going into this home. This family was having all kind of problems. And I remember I walked in it and I was in there to clear it. And I felt the presence of 2, like, I felt a man and then I felt like a woman. But they were like ganging up on this family. And I walked in and I remember when I walked past the clock, the father clock, it went bong, 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 bong. And the owners of the house said, that clock never rings at this time. I said, that's because they know I'm here and they know I'm here to clean house and I'm not going to play. So then the house started getting all kind of cold. It started getting weird. I said, you can do all you want. Your ass is leaving today. You don't have any purpose or intention to be here, so you need to leave. You need to go on your next timeline. You need to go plan out your next journey and stop wasting your time here on this timeline. Open up all the doors, please. Thank you very much. Got my drum out and I went, bam, went to town. Yeah, they were doing pretty good after that. They actually had to take that clock and sit it out in the backyard because it was a portal where these spirits were coming in and out of. And it was an old antique clock that they had in the house. So, yeah. Sometimes you just got to be the warrior and have your team, your divine team with you. All right, lovelies, be good to yourself. I'll see you tomorrow. Be happy. Stay true to yourself. And remember who you are. Bye.